So I was on my way to the gym and I thought about anxiety and I thought about pressure. And I know anxiety to be something that could be crippling, something that could stop you from getting up and eating breakfast, something that could stop you from going to the gym, something that could stop you from just doing the most normal things that you would do. I'm talking about an anxiety that just when somebody asks you a question, it closes you up. You know what I mean? And the thing is, you could be the most open-minded person in the world. But once that anxiety hit, shuts everything down, makes you question everything, but in a negative manner. Not in the questioning and critical thinking manner, but in a manner where you find everything negative about this. You can't be like that. See, the universe gives you an opportunity to conquer your anxiety. Your anxiety is just stronger than that opportunity most times. The only person that gives that anxiety that power is you. Only reason I know this is because I've lived it. It's kind of hard to talk about things that I have no experience on. It's very hard to talk about things in depth that I have no experience on, because there's always going to be more questions there than there is information. Well, anxiety, it stopped me from a lot. And it helped me with a lot at the same time. See, it stopped me from a lot because I wasn't deciding to jump out there and live life at times. I'd play it dangerously safe. And what I mean by dangerously safe is I was out there doing things that you probably as a teenager or as a young adult, a lot of people wasn't out there normally doing. But there was a lot of people out there doing some of the same things. And what we was doing was living very dangerously, but very cautious at the same time. And what it causes is, not really what it causes, but going through that and having anxiety, you learn how to overcome the anxiety because of something else, which is a fear. You might slightly fear something, and you may have anxiety about going into that situation, but something clicks in your head where there's like this thing called there is no other way, or I don't know what else to do, or this is the only option. Not all the times do those things pan out to the greatest things, but if you put your mind in the right perspective and you look in the correct direction, when you make those statements, those will be the statements that change your life. Those will be the statements that push you far away from anxiety, and that will be the pressure that you actually need. Now, see, pressure can cause anxiety because other people can apply pressure to you about doing certain things. And it'll cause a high level of anxiety because not only do you have to figure it out for yourself, now you have to live up to this expectation that somebody has put on you. That ain't what you want to do. Fail for everybody, yo. Whatever expectation they put in your face, exceed it or fail at it. Because it doesn't matter. What matters is if you feel as though you're putting in the maximum effort. That's what matters. But the thing is this, you know when you're not putting in the maximum effort, even if you say it out your mouth, you know that you ain't putting in the maximum effort for yourself. That effort, that pressure, that will help with your anxiety. Don't let it have you locked into this little cage. Don't let it have you stuck in the house looking out the windows wondering how the world is traveling, but you ain't going out there to be a part of it. Don't let it have you sitting in that room scared to even walk into the kitchen and cook yourself something to eat. Once I got to learn how to deal with a good amount of my anxiety, I was able to see that same anxiety in other people. And when I seen it, I used to look at it and be like, how could you be like that? What's up? Come on, you can get out of that. Snap out of it. The thing was, though, I had to realize that the process that I went through wasn't a snap of a finger. The process that I went through was an everyday cycle of quietness, belief, encouragement, determination, dedication to believe that I was worth something, to believe that I had every opportunity in front of me, and all I had to do was start moving in a direction. So I tell you to pay attention to your anxiety, because remember, anxiety is a problem. And the only way that you solve a problem is if you dive into that problem even more and you attack it. That's where you will find your answers. See, anxiety is just it's I don't want to curse, but anxiety is just a red flag, and people running around, especially now, screaming, red flags, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. Okay, well, if these are red flags, you know what that is to me? That means a green light is right after that. A green light is right after that. Or green flag. So what am I going to do with those red flags? I'm going to study them. I'm going to learn them. I'm going to fucking dive so deep into them that people that's around me ain't even going to be able to stand next to me, because it's just shaving them off. Because they may not dive into their problems. But see, I want to dive into this anxiety, and I want to understand what's causing this. Where does it come from? What are the highlight moments? Is it when I walk into big crowds? Is it when I talk to a female? Is it when I'm around family members and I'm highly excited? What causes this? Once I figure out what those key points was, those are what I attack. Those are what I attack. If I feel as though I don't do well around big crowds, I'm going to start putting myself in big crowds. I'm going to start putting myself in highly public areas with a lot of foot traffic. Why? Because it's going to help me. You see, you don't get experience on something by just talking about it or looking at it. You got to really go get the experience. See, the old fundamentals from the 80s kids and things like that, they haven't left. They haven't left. If you want to experience this world, you have to be outside. You have to be in the world. So see, anxiety has risen even higher in society because a lot of the 2000 babies was trapped inside. Families kept them in the house a lot. So they have high anxiety of dealing with social situations. But see, some of us 80s baby, we have social anxiety too. But it's a little bit different because we attack it. You know what I'm saying? Some of us attack it. Some of us close off, but some of us attack it. Some of us have a time where we close off, but most of us that I've seen attack it. Some people have drinking problems because of it. See, it changes lives, good and bad. All I'm saying is to you or anybody actually listening to this, I appreciate you. But I do want you to understand that with me appreciating you listening to this means that you're literally listening to my answer to my anxiety. Because you see, I have anxiety about this, talking to random people and talking to them about being motivated and stepping past your problems, walking through your problems, grabbing onto the answers and taking them out with you. Not just the short-term answers, but the long-term answers, the fixes, the cures. As I'm talking to you about this, I have so much anxiety running through my body, but because I decided, and I keep deciding, and I'm going to keep deciding, that I'm just going to do this anyway. I don't care if you tell me to shut up. I don't care if you give me a thumbs down. I promise you, there is one sentence in here that will help somebody, and if it don't help somebody, it's going to help me in the future. Because I'm going to remember. If I ever forget, if I ever allow my anxiety to take over me or jump in my way, I'm going to remember that anxiety is just a problem, and my answer for it is inside the problem. So remember that. Make sure that you know that you take your shortcomings and you make them exactly that, something very short to deal with. Please believe in your way out. And remember to live your talent.